Melody's been telling me a little bit about Safe Haven. How about that, huh? Amazing. I got really sick last week, so I've been choking my brains out, just so you know. And if I hack and cough through this, it was totally planned, just so you know. I just love the Lord. I had the privilege of being saved pretty much most of my life. But both parents were dead by the time I was 21. And I had a suicide attempt at 16. And I remember it was probably the first time I really heard the Lord's voice. And he came into my room as I lay, waiting to be overcome by the drugs I had taken. And he said, "You gave your life to me when you were 5 years old." He said, "I'll tell you when it's over." And I woke up with no side effects and had this eerie, beautiful feeling that my life was made for something. So you guys can sing this first song with me.
Who breaks the power of sin and darkness, and whose love is mighty and so much stronger? Oh, the King of glory, the King above all kings. Who shakes the whole earth with a holy thunder, and who leaves us breathless in awe and wonder. Oh, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, oh God, that you would bear my cross. You would lay down your life, Jesus, that I would be set free, oh God, I want to be free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done, all that you've done, God. I'm celebrating you for all that you've done, God. You're enough for me, Jesus. You're enough for me, Jesus. Who brings our chaos back into order, who makes the orphan our son and daughter. Oh, the King of glory, the King above all kings. Who rules the nations with truth and justice, and he shines like the sun in all its brilliance. The King of glory, the King above all. Come on, sing it out. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, Jesus, that you would take my place, oh God, that you would bear my cross. You would lay down your life, Jesus. all that you've done, God. Who is like you in all of the heavens? You're amazing, oh God, you're amazing. Sing worthy, and worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave, and worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered. Sing it out tonight, and worthy is the Lamb who was slain. And worthy is the King who conquered the grave, and worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Oh God, you are worthy, worthy. Oh, it's just amazing grace. It's just unfailing love that you took my place, and you bore my cross. Yes, you lay down it all, Jesus, so I would just be free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done, God. Who am I with all that you've done, God? You would notice my affliction, that you would hear my need and run. You're just amazing, God. You're just amazing, God. You're just amazing, God. Oh, and we say worthy is the Lamb who was slain, and worthy is the King who conquered the grave, and worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King. Oh, we say worthy, worthy, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King. Oh, yes, and worthy is the Lamb. Oh, God, tonight we say you're worthy, worthy. Oh, it's just amazing grace. It's just unfailing love that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross, you would lay down, yes you did, God, that I would be free, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, I sing it out again. Jesus, I sing for all that, and one more time. Jesus, I sing for all that you've done. God, tonight we worship you. We want you in the center of this place, 'cause there is no one like you, Jesus. No one heals like you do. We want you to be amazing.
Amen. I thought we would just sing a couple songs, and I'll obviously be back tomorrow, and then I'll be at church on Sunday. But I was in the trailer. Let me just tell you that you're leaders, okay? I go a lot of places, and I'm never as well taken care of by people as your leaders have taken care of. It's really beautiful. And I see that because if they've spent that amount of time trying to just take care of us, I want you to know that so much care has gone into this for you. That every thought of every heart in this room has been thought of tonight. And God knows. He knows. He's the only one in the universe that knew when you would pull in, where you would park, how you would walk in this building, and what you would sense and what you would see. I'm on the road all the time. I have been for over 25 years. I've had a beautiful life, being able to just worship. And worship has been my warfare. It's how I learned to hear the voice of God. It's how I learned to walk through a lot of tragedy. It's how I learned to trust the Lord. And I get stories all over the place. We used to do this stuff called writing letters, and we had these things called stamps that we put on them and we mailed them. And I used to collect them in chests of people who would send me letters and say, I was a drug addict and I played one of your songs and I was fully delivered from drugs. I had cancer and God healed me of cancer. And the Lord would tell me, keep these testifies, keep these testimonies, because one day you'll need them. You'll need to pull them out and speak them over your own soul. So I would keep them in chests, and whenever I needed to be enriched by the fact that God used me, and even if the enemy wanted to come in and say, God can't use you, he'll never do this or he'll never do that, I would pull out those letters. And so I've had a lot of testimonies all over the place. And tonight, while I was just getting ready, I was just sitting there thinking, Lord, I don't know how much I can sing tonight, but tell me what to do. And he reminded me of this really beautiful story. And he said, there are people here that need that defense tonight. They need that release tonight. And I'm doing the same thing in this room that I did that night. And I was on a plane. It was many years ago. I was on a plane, 35,000 feet up in the air. Sometimes is where God talks to me the most. Maybe it's because I'm closer to him up there. But I was up there, and I was just sitting in my seat, and I pulled out my journal, and I opened up my journal, and I just started to ask the Lord about the conference that I was headed to. Was there a word he wanted me to say? Was there anybody that he needed me to give a word to or prophesy over? And all I heard the Lord say was, there's a woman, and she's lost a daughter. And I want to roll off the shame of her life. I want to roll back the reproach of shame in her life. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And he didn't give me a full understanding of how she'd lost the daughter. And so I remembered in the journal I just wrote down miscarriage, ? Abortion, ? Adoption, ? Sickness or whatever, ? He wasn't clear about that. And he said, but tell her when you find her that I'm rolling shame off her life. And the interesting thing is that when I landed and when I got involved in the conference, I never remembered the word, which is very unlike me. And in fact, I never remembered it until a few months later while I was standing in a completely different city, in a completely different state, in a completely different women's event. And I was closing a session, and had been teaching this session, and I was closing the session, and the Lord showed me this journal, and he showed me that word just really quickly, and he said, she's here. She's here, and today's the day. And so I was like, okay. And so I just very randomly at the end said, we're going to do altar time. And I said, I felt like the Lord gave me this word, and I just generally just said, I don't know how you've lost a daughter, but the Lord wants to roll shame back off your life tonight. And then we started to minister to people, and many women came forward, and I was kind of going down the prayer line, and this woman leaned in as I kind of went to pray for her, and she said, I'm that lady. And I said, oh, that's great, okay. And she said, I had a baby girl, she said, 12 years ago. I was Catholic and raised Catholic, she said, and I've since gotten married, and I have 2 sons. She said, but I only really got saved and met Jesus a few months ago. And when I did, I just asked him if he would please just take away this agony that I had to give this little girl away. So I said, let's just pray for you. And so we prayed for her, and we just watched the Lord do this beautiful thing and just kind of roll that sadness and that shame off of her. And I thought, wow, that's really cool that months ago the Lord had that woman on his mind. And as I kind of journeyed down the line, this lady leaned in and she said, "I'm that lady." And I said, "Oh, okay." And she said, "I had an abortion many years ago." She said, I'm married now and I have 2 sons. She said, "But I heard you say this thing and I opened my eyes because I knew it was me. I knew it was a little girl that I had aborted years ago." And she said, "I opened my eyes and I saw Jesus standing in front of me, and he had this baby girl wrapped in this blanket in his arms, and he hands her to me in the spirit, and he says, 'You forgot to name your daughter.'" And so she said, I just felt reproach just roll off my back. So I prayed for her, and we watched the Lord come for her. And I migrated down the line, and I get to this 3rd woman, and she leans in and she says, "I think that's me." She said, "I'm married now and I have 2 sons, but I lost her in my 6th month, and I have never been able to forgive myself for the loss of her." And so I laid hands on her and we prayed for her, and we watched the Lord just walk in and take shame right off her shoulders. And I gathered up all my things, and I headed out the door. And as I was heading out the door, just kind of in awe that we have this God that is so big and so righteous and so holy and so present, that he knew months before where those women were going to be. He knew the city that they would be in. He knew the state that they lived in. And he knew what was on them. And he was thinking about them months before. And he knew exactly when he would come in and roll the remaining shame off their shoulders. And as I was walking toward the door, I got a tap on my shoulder. And I turned around, and there was a woman there, and she said, "I stayed till everybody else left." She said, "Probably because I'm a little embarrassed by my story." She said, "But I've been through a lot of counseling and a lot of deliverance from my story." She said, "But I'm married now and I have 2 sons." And I started to laugh, and she's like, "But I was raised in a satanic cult, and they sacrificed 3 daughters." She says, "I've had a lot of deliverance, but I just feel like there's just this one layer of shame that I can't get rid of." And we watched God just come in that moment. And it's such a powerful story. I've never forgotten it, because I remember I just went back to the hotel for a long time and just stood real quiet before the Lord. Because he's just so beautiful in his healing and so powerful in his defense. And I just need you to know tonight, whether you know God, whether you don't know God, whether you're new to this whole Christian thing, whether you've been walking with the Lord for a while and you just can't seem to get what you really need, I'm telling you that he knows where you're sitting. He knows what your name is. He knows what your address is. And he's the best defender I've ever met. And he can do it. God, I thank you for who you are. And you go before I know that you've even gone to win my war. You come back with hate, oh, my enemy. You come back and you call me my victory. Oh, and you go before I know that you've even gone to win my war. Your love becomes
became my greatest defense. It leads me from the dry wilderness, and all I did was pray. And all I did was worship you, God. All I did was bow down. All I did was stay still. And hallelujah, you have saved me so much better this way. Better your way. And you know, before I do, where my heart can seek to find your truth, your mercy is the shade I am living in. Restore my faith and my hope again. And all I did was praise, oh God. And all I did was worship you. And all I did was bow down, Jesus. Oh, and all I did was stay still. And hallelujah, you have saved me so much better your way. Hallelujah, great defender, so much better your way. Hallelujah, and hallelujah, you have saved me so much better your way. And hallelujah, great defender, so much better your way. Oh, Jesus, you defend me, God. You protect me, God. Oh, you see me, God. When I thought I lost me, you knew where I left me. You reintroduced me to your love. You picked up all my pieces, put me back together. You are the defender of my heart. And when I thought I lost me, you knew where I left me. You reintroduced me to your great love. And you picked up all my pieces, put me back together. You are the defender of my heart. And when I thought I lost me, you knew where I left me. You reintroduced me to your great love. You picked up all my pieces, put me back together. You are the defender of my heart.
I did was praise you, God. And all I did was worship. And all I did was bow down, Jesus. And all I did was stay where you could get to me, God. All I did was stay where you could heal me, God. All I did was stay where you could find me, God. And you did. And you don't give your heart in pieces. Sing that out. And you don't hide yourself to tease. You don't give your heart, sing it out. And you don't give your. No, you don't, God, you don't give your heart in pieces. And you don't hide yourself to tease us. Come on, sing it one more time tonight. No, God, you don't give your heart in pieces. No, you don't, God, it's not your way. And you don't hide yourself to tease us. All I do was praise. All I did was worship you, Jesus. All I did was bow down. All I did was stay still. Come on, give him a shout of praise tonight. Amen. Amen.